Hi, everyone. It's Logan Misuraca, and this is the Fans View podcast.
Going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fans View podcast. I am so excited today to bring you an ARCA Menard Series driver who's taken a path that's been anything but easy. Do not let the pretty face and the dimples fool you. You know, she's a badass, from short track championships in Florida to super speedway racing in Daytona to navigating the brutal business of motorsports. Guys, she's stepping into an opportunity this coming year in ARCA to be a trailblazer with City Garage Motorsports. My guest today is none other than Logan Misuraca. Logan, after that super long intro, how are you doing?
That was the most amazing intro I've ever gotten. Thank you so much. I'm doing great. How are you? Thank you so much for having me today.
I am so good. I'm so happy to have you on, and I want you to know I actually cut that intro short because I was like, I have to get this going. I am just rambling at this point.
Oh, you can keep going. I'll just sit over here and take it. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
just little old me, right? I hear you. For people, and I can't imagine this is a thing, but for fans that are discovering you for the first time, maybe seeing your face for the first time on this podcast, how do you usually describe who Logan Misuraca is, not just as a driver, but as a human being?
Let's just, in a little synopsis, I am a hometown through and through racer. I guess that's the best way to describe it. I just came from nothing. I didn't come from wealth. I came from my dad racing, my dad's dad, just a family that had a passion for racing. I actually was driven to go a different career path because my mother never wanted me behind the wheel of a race car, so she stuck me as a ballerina for 18 years. And once I was old enough to make my own decisions, I took the money and I said, we're going to go racing full time. So then building that from the ground up, and everyone knows racing is not a cheap sport. So I had to learn the business very, very quickly of how to make money and use marketing. And back then when I was starting it, social media wasn't really the get up.
Right.
It was just starting out. So I had to use that, and I just kind of got lucky that social media ended up blowing up eventually, that was the route that I went, of just focusing on social media to start marketing and getting my toes wet with different little partners and sponsors here and there, and going to hustle random people at the racetrack and be like, hey, if you pay for my tires, I'm gonna give you a shout out when I win. So just basically learning from the ground up, trial and error. That's just how I've kind of done my entire career so far, and it's worked out.
I
Kinda.
love that. Yeah, I mean, hey, we're still here. We're talking to you, and you're about to make some history next month, as a matter of fact. And we're gonna get to that. But you touched on something that I don't want to let you go on. From about 18 months, like you said, on, you were a dancer. You weren't so much a racer as you were a dancer. If my research is correct, a Lake Mary marionette, to be exact, a national championship dance team. Can you talk about that a little bit before we go into the racing?
Yeah, I started dancing when I was 18 months old. I started competing at 4, and we even lied about my age to say I was 5, because they just wanted to start getting me into competitions. And I did competitive dancing at studios my entire life. I did dance teams for school. I did professional dancing for Disney and Universal. Other like third party work, ballroom shows, all of this stuff for till I was about 21, even when I was racing, to where I would be at dance practice until 2 a.m. some mornings, and then have to go to school at 6 a.m. or wake up to go to the racetrack the very next morning. And all of the people at the dance studio used to judge me. They're like, you realize these are like two opposite Like very two opposite lifestyles. Like here I am, like putting my hair in a slicked back bun and making sure that my toe is pointed all the way, and then going to just, oh, let me just push the gas pedal down. Like,
I love it. I think you are racing's Hannah Montana. I think we're gonna trademark that.
basically, I got the best of both worlds. That's for sure.
Oh, I see what you did there. I love it. Obviously, you said you grew up around racing, with your dad and grandfather, but you were heavily involved in dance. Did dance give you something maybe that racing didn't, or maybe even something that you use now with racing, be it a mental thing, not so much physical,
Yeah.
obviously.
I think the dancing definitely helped with the racing in more ways than people think it did, because they're like, oh, like how is that going to help? Like the training and the physical stuff is like so different, but there's such a rhythm to racing, to where when I first started racing, my dad would even refer it to me, just look at the track as counts of eights. So you'll gas two, three, four, lift five, six, brake seven, lift eight. One, two, three. And that's how I would start learning. And then I would just start trying to back up my counts in counts of eight. And I would literally just build my track as a rhythm to make sure I was always hitting the same exact marks to gain consistency. And then obviously with the NASCAR scale, I had been performing on stage my entire life. I've been performing in front of people, doing interviews, so I never had that stage fright.
Right.
So going into crazy NASCAR races like Daytona in 2023, to where it's very nerve wracking. There's so many things going on. There's 50 cameras in your face. Like I was still, don't get me wrong, I was nervous as hell, but and I was freaking out. But I knew what to do, because I was just like, okay, calm yourself.
Right.
And I knew how to speak, and I'm okay with speaking in public. And I kind of just ramble too much sometimes, but I got
Well,
that from
that is
dance.
welcomed here.
Yeah,
I
there
love
we go.
that. That's welcomed here, so we'll take that. Obviously, aside from the dancing, on the racing front, you started in quarter midgets, you worked up to go-karts and so on. Do you remember that moment when racing stopped being just something fun to this is serious now?
I think it took when I turned 17, because I was still racing from when I was 4 until I was 17. It was just very sparse
Right.
and in between. Once I graduated high school, I told mom I was hanging up my ballet shoes. I was done dancing. I was like, there's no way to make a real career out of it. I love dance, but I was just so burnt out because I was doing it like all hours of the day. Like that just consumed my entire life. And I was like, I'd rather pursue my passion with racing. Like I feel like there's more that I can do. And I think it was like the second race weekend that I went out there in a legend car, and I was like, this is a lot more than just a hobby. And that was when I started like learning marketing and taking side classes online and these courses of how to gain partnerships. And I even took a minor, because I was going to college at the time, of how to gain partnerships in like B2B and B2C companies. So then I really started getting more business oriented in it and turning it into, okay, I'm going to have to stick with this now. I've put enough time into it. And then it grew into what it grew into. And I got extremely lucky when COVID hit. And a lot of people got very unlucky when COVID hit. I think
Yeah.
COVID was the best thing that happened to me. I used those, what are they called? The checks we got.
The oh yeah, the stipend, yeah, the
I
Trump bucks is what
used,
I always call them.
yes, I used those stipends to fund my late model ride for my first late model race.
Love it. I love
the
it.
My little relief check, I'm like, perfect. I'm sending it to the team. Let's put me in a late model, and that was my first one. And then that was the year we won the championship, and it just kept carrying on that year. We found partners to hop on. I had Fortress Water, which was a breast cancer water company. And breast cancer has always been something I've been very passionate about, because when I was dancing, my two dance instructors, I lost both of them to breast cancer. So that, and having the relation with that too, really helped me push of the marketing side. Like everyone would
Right.
look at me like, she's just showing up to the racetrack with all this stuff and extra stuff going on. Everyone show up in their plain white race cars. I'm like, no, it better be perfectly wrapped. We're all gonna have matching outfits on. I don't care how crazy we look. I need like 5 coolers of the water around the pits at all time, two of my
Oh,
girlfriends
no.
ran up into the stands at New Smyrna Speedway to hand out water bottles to everybody. I had someone that set up a tent under the stadium. I'm like, if we're going for it, we're going for it hardcore.
I love that.
And I just wanted to build my value as a race car driver and the business sense to make it make sense for businesses, because you can't just go to a business and be like, hey, give me 100 grand for the weekend
Right, exactly.
and
Yeah,
you get a sticker. You get a sticker. I'm
a
like,
pretty
no.
sticker.
Yeah, a little pretty shiny sticker that's still gonna cost you more than the 100 grand to put
For
that on the
sure.
car. So you might as well round up to 102 grand at that point. So to make it make sense, I just had to find ways to build value
Yeah,
into my racing business because I didn't want to be unfair. I'm like, I'm very much a fair person, and I even do that with all my partners to where if I don't think what I can do can benefit you, I'll just say just give me product and I'll post it to social media that can always benefit you. Don't just save your money at that point. Like I just
yeah.
always try to stay fair and just stay morally correct.
I love that. And we're see you touched on a bunch of things that we are gonna hit here. I like how you kind of peppered in that minor. We're gonna talk about that major coming up, folks. We're gonna leave that as a nice little aha because that one, wow. But what was harder early on? Like you talked about, making that switch when you were in a Legends car, like that mindset switch. What was harder early on? Learning how to drive that car fast or learning that you belong there?
Was just earning the respect, not from the sense of me being a female. Yeah, we had issues like that, but not as much as people think we do. People think like, oh, you're a girl, you're gonna get like pushed out and have all these issues. Mine
Mhm.
wasn't really more so that. It was, I mean, obviously I was a dancer and I present myself in a certain way and I always have my nails done, my hair done, my makeup on. And I mean, I just showed up as the pretty girl at the
Yeah.
racetrack. So it was trying to gain respect that I can still do this and be attractive and good looking at the same time. And it was really hard to gain the respect. I would go home in tears, just crying, like, you know what? I just want to put braces on and put glasses on my face. Let's put some fake pimples on my face and let's chop my hair to a bowl cut, and I don't care. I'm like, I feel like that was the only way to gain respect. I was like, I feel like I have to be hideous to go
Yeah.
out there and just be looked at as a racer. So I was trying to navigate to look as a racer because even now I still have that issue to where everyone's like, oh, just another pretty face with
Yep.
daddy's money. And I'm like, both of those are so far from the truth. Like, I just present myself in a manner that I would want to be presented because it's professional and it's a
Right.
business, and you're not going to show up to a business interview or representing a business looking like a slob. Sorry. And
Absolutely.
then when it comes to like dad's money, I'm like, everything I've done, I have built from the ground up myself. I was like,
Love
dad
that.
has his business and he's working to keep himself afloat. I'm doing my business to keep myself afloat. I was like, we've never worked together on things to where it just didn't make sense for us as a family. It was like he could barely make ends meet, I could barely make ends meet, so I had to go and find third party help to do it, and I've just been very lucky to find ways to do it.
I love that. We are going to dig into all of this so much deeper. If you had to describe, and I know this is tough, but if you had to describe your racing journey in one word so far, what would that word be?
Chaos.
Like that. Can you explain that a little bit?
Chaos. It's not even in the sense of, I mean, of course a racetrack is chaotic, but it's just one thing after another. Something's always happening, something's going wrong, or something's presenting itself as an opportunity that falls through, or an actual real opportunity, and then you got to rush to get it done. And it all starts from my very first ARCA start. Like, I didn't know I was making my very first ARCA start until 24 hours prior to the race. And it was 2022 ARCA New Smyrna race. The driver couldn't do it. I got a phone call the day prior, and I was going to the race just to support and watch because it was at New Smyrna Speedway at the time. And they're
Right.
like, hey, we need a driver. I didn't have any of my certifications. I had to go bolt to the clinic to get my physical done, drug test done, get that sent over, overnighted, buy my ARCA membership, and show up first thing in the morning at 6 a.m. to race the race. And we ended up six, so. But
We'll take We're
I
gonna take
didn't
that.
know. And it was just everything since then. I think that just laid down the foundation of how my racing career was going to go. And just everything's been pure chaos. But I love it. I do very, very well under chaos. I would love to get to a point where I can just focus on the racing sense on the weekends. And everyone tells me that, like, you need to delegate and give other people more work. But I've just always been a person, if you want it done it right, you do it yourself. So
Exactly right.
when it comes to like photography, my videographer, like, yeah, teams provide that stuff. And I'm like, no, like I have mine under my own payroll, under my own thing. And we're going to dress up in my outfits that I custom make for everybody. And when I talk to a partner, I'm never using a manager or someone to talk for me. It's always me. Like I want it all done myself. And yes, it makes it extremely chaotic because you're doing 50,000 things at once, but you at least know it's getting done and you know where your progress is at the end of the day.
Absolutely, and big respect for that. I love that word though. Chaos seems to. I've known you for about 45 minutes, and that seems to really pin you down. Just
Yeah.
chaos.
As I'm on my third Red Bull of the day.
I
Pure
love it.
chaos.
You love to see it. You love to
Yeah.
see it. Once racing really got in your blood and it became your primary focus, you started crushing it. I mean, honestly, and in easy to understand language. You won the Pro Late Model championship at New Smyrna, like you said. You were Rookie of the Year. At that point, it had to feel like things were really starting to click for you. A lot of fans would assume, once the success on track starts coming, well, that automatically leads to opportunity. When did you first realize that talent alone isn't enough in motorsports?
Realized that very early on, even prior to late models, prior to the championship. I thought late models was going to be the furthest I went. I didn't
Right.
see anything above late models. Like NASCAR was such a far stretch for me that I was like, I just, compared to these other people, I just kind of barely got here. Like all these people, like, yes, I started racing F4, but I just seriously got here. Like
Right.
there's no way, like that was so far in the distance. And I in legend cars, I just realized, and I would look around and see just at such a small scale the people with the bigger teams that would show up with like 6 cars at the track where their daddies were paying the money to go out there and they're finishing top 6 straight in a row, and then here's Logan in 7th right behind them all, and it's like, and then you start to realize money buys the best ride, and then
Yes.
money buys the opportunity.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with talent because you can have drivers out there that have never seen a sponsor in their entire life. Even some racing in Cup that have never seen a sponsor before in their entire life, and they just have someone in their bloodline funding the entire deal.
Yep.
So,
I
yeah, I learned that from a very, very young age. And I was like, I don't have this. I'm broke. I'm like, I don't have money like that. So I was like, that's not happening for me.
I love that. I mean, hey, that makes you the people's champ.
There we go.
Um, and you put it perfectly, especially at the ARCA level, the lower levels. The truck series is another good example. It's equipment. Talent is fantastic,
Mhm.
and you see good talent come through there, but the equipment has to be there too. The money
Yeah.
has to be there. You just, you're kind of dead in the water.
Yep.
As we talk about your shift to ARCA specifically, what's the biggest misconception you think fans have about ARCA racing?
Ooh, honestly, I think they're all pretty spot on with all the things that I see. But I think ARCA is just it's a great platform to be able to learn what you need to do to go further. I don't see it as something that you should really stick in for long. I've been in it longer than I would like to be. I love ARCA. I love what they're doing. It's just sometimes they are allowing too many things to come in and happen because it's a pay to play. You
Right.
pay, you get to go, like have
Right.
fun, and then you have the people who have already paid their way and they have the talent to show for it go against these same people. So it makes it fun from a racing sense because then you have the AI spectrum of 0 to 110 in iRacing basically out there. But I mean, it's really just, I think, a learning platform to be able to go up to the top 3 tiers of NASCAR.
I like that. I love that answer, and I think we could expound on that. But that's one of those situations where if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe there's money out there that shouldn't be on the track. Is just all I'm gonna say. Logan didn't say it. I'm gonna say maybe Arca's a little. Maybe they should be a little more choosy, and we're gonna move on from there. Um, was your ARCA debut, and I think I know where you're gonna answer, but was your ARCA debut more physically or emotionally overwhelming for you?
Are we going off of the ARCA East debut or the ARCA main debut at Daytona?
Well, I'm gonna let you pick. Let's go with the East. Let's start with the East because we're gonna go on Daytona. We're gonna talk about Daytona later.
East, I would say it was slightly more physical. I had never ran anything longer than a 50 lap race at New Smyrna Speedway prior. That was it. And then you
Right,
throw me out here not knowing till 24 hours prior I'm doing 200 laps.
right,
What do you mean? I'm like, after 50 laps, I'm dying in the trailer. And I had no idea at that point. I wasn't trained for that. I just had that set endurance of, oh, it's 50 laps. We're good. I had never pushed myself to that extent. And then
right,
Daytona of 2023 was 100% mental. That was physically, I was fine. I had run already like 50,000 laps at that racetrack by then, doing the NASCAR racing experience ride alongs. And so physically, I knew I could do it. I knew exactly how to drive the track. Drafting just always has made sense in my brain because of my
right.
major. And, but the mentalness, I think, on pit road, I was standing there and there's so many cameras because it's a female's first debut. All the cameras are there. And then
Right.
I'm the hometown girl. And I had already driven 50,000 laps at the track. So it was like high TV thing. And I had all these cameras in my face. And I just was thinking to myself, like, I just need 1 second to take a breath. 1 second. And I never got it. It was finally like, okay, driver, start your engines. And I'm getting in the car and I'm getting in, and there's still a camera peeking right into my window. And I just shut the visor and I bawled my eyes out. I was like, I never got my second. You have your adrenaline pouring over, your blood is boiling. You just had driver intros, run to this, take 50,000 pictures, do the hat dance with all the sponsors. Now say goodbye to your friends. Let's pray before the race. Let's say the national anthem and get the hell in the car. And I'm like, I need a second. I need a second. And so I broke down in tears, but I didn't want to see that, like, want them to see me falter. So I just closed it. So now, anytime you'll see a video of me getting into a car, you'll see me go
Love
every
it.
race, and I've almost do it unintentionally. Like, I don't know
Right.
I'm doing it, but every single time a videographer catches it, she goes, "You always do the breath." And I was like, "That's because my first ARCA start, I never got my breath." So now
Love
I
that.
always do that breath right before I get in the car. I always take a big, huge breath before putting on my helmet or before I put my head in the car. And now it's just tradition. Now they're like, oh, you got to do your breath.
That's your trademark. I love it.
Yeah, I
Uh,
guess.
before we get into Daytona and the super speedway uh aspects of your career, I want to let the cat out of the bag because not only are you a race car driver, not only are you an accomplished dancer, not only are you drop dead gorgeous, you have a degree in aerospace engineering. You're quite literally a rocket scientist.
Basically.
How in God's name? Obviously you're a UCF Knight. Respect.
Yes.
Um, talk to me about this aerospace engineering.
So I think what happened as a kid, and I always wanted to know, lack of a better word, I just always wanted to know the top secret shit. I wanted to know what was going on in the world, but I didn't really want to just focus on astrophysics, which I did minor in for a little bit. Anyways, side the point. But I wanted to be involved and know what was going on. So I was like, okay, we'll do aerospace engineering. And I've always loved the Space Coast. I was born and raised here.
Right.
And I think it really got into my head when people would always say, oh, well, it's not rocket science. And I'm like, well, no, it actually is. So then when I'm doing my schoolwork and anyone would say that saying, I'm like, I am actually doing rocket science. Thank
I
you
love
for
it.
your time. And also, I just always thought, okay, in dancing or racing, whatever I chose to do at that point, I was like, if I break both my legs in either sport, I need a backup plan. So I wanted that pretty piece of paper that said aerospace engineer. So that's why I have the piece of paper. I hope I never have to use it, but I have the pretty piece of paper just in case.
I love that. That is amazing. All the respect. That is insane to have balanced becoming an aerospace engineer with racing and dancing and having some semblance of a social life. If we take it back to racing, Daytona and Talladega are intimidating tracks, even for veterans. You have shown the propensity to excel at those super speedways, those they used to be called restrictor plate tracks. What goes through your head when you're about to, a restart, or you're about to take the green flag at a super speedway like Talladega?
Restarts will always be sketchy. There's no way to hide that feeling, but you just have to anticipate. And even just learning how to drive a car on I-4 in Florida, it's you always want to look 3 to 4 cars ahead, always. And the same applies in racing, to where you have to see exactly how that car is fidgeting, how the air is hitting that car, and you can tell way before anything's going to happen. Even with my other teammates over at City Garage Motorsports, Quinn Davis and Becca Monopoli, we were all talking about it. And it's, you just really have to anticipate what's going to happen before it does. Um, I've always been really good at being able to see things happen way before they do. I don't know if it was the way I was even just taught driving a street car, to where my dad would never let me drive a car unless I knew what was going to happen way prior to it happening.
Right.
I mean, knock on wood, I've never been in a car wreck on the road, but I've been in like very close to them, and I've always been able to wiggle my way out of it. I think when it comes to Daytona, Dale Earnhardt said it the best, and I'm not trying to just like quote and clout chase, but he said he could always see the air.
Right.
And I sat down before my first Daytona start with my high school physics teacher, and we were at Panera, and he brought these little cars, and he was explaining to me basically the draft of how it was going
Hmm.
to feel. And he put it in the retrospect of, think of a swimmer and the way the wake goes behind a swimmer, or even a boat if you want to think lesser than. But you see a wake go behind the boat, so then you're trying to feed into that wake, and that's basically your side draft. And then behind, you're obviously in the trail, but then if you start to get wishy up front, then you can see the wishies in the wake. So I try to view the draft as it's not a track, it's water. And you can see the wake coming off the cars when you start to think of it that way.
Love that. That is actually brilliant. Um, I guess, one thing I have to ask you about your super speedway, endeavors is, how do you manage fear at 190 plus miles an hour and not let it control you?
It feels so slow. It's so slow. And I think a lot of racers will say that in every race for a racer feels very slow because everything's going on chaotic in your brain. And the way your eyes and your peripherals are registering everything, it's almost bringing it down to like 60 frames per second. And that's it. So you're not really seeing everything in real time. That's why when you're wrecking or going to wreck, your brain already knows, your body already knows before you can actually react to do something.
Right.
So going 180, 190 miles an hour, it's just, I think it's calming. I love the hum, and just, it's like a nice little soothing dance. And there goes the rhythm again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't know, it just never scared me for big tracks like that. Now you put like a short track and you're going 10 times slower, but
Right.
it's way scarier when it comes to speed, to where you really got to predict everything going on. And but it's never the fear of getting hurt and wrecking, because the safety measures they take in NASCAR is insanely good. I know no matter what happens when I go out there, even if I wreck the hardest hit seen in possible history, I'm probably going to walk away from it just fine. But
I like that answer.
yeah, it's just
Uh,
trusting in the car, and then don't worry about the car. Don't worry about you getting hurt. Once you get past the fear of getting hurt, you don't really have the fear anymore. Then you're just going fast and you got to figure out what to do with the speed that you're going. But it's never a fear of getting hurt. You're not going to get
for
hurt.
sure. For sure. And trust is something that I wanted to touch on with you too, because super speedway racing, like you said, it is a lot. I would say like 90% at this point, the way especially cup cars are made, it's drafting. It's trusting that driver ahead of you. It's trusting that driver beside you. A driver can just decide they're gonna make a hard left turn, come across your nose, and then your day's over. Your sponsors are disappointed. So how hard is it to trust drivers you race with, be it on speedways or even somewhere like Bristol Motor Speedway, the smallest track on the on the on the circuit? How hard is it to trust drivers that you may not race with every week?
This is going to be a very unpopular opinion. Don't trust them. Don't trust them.
Mm,
They can't, you never know, because sometimes they can't even trust themselves. A little piece of air can hit them the wrong way and they have no idea what's going to happen. It could happen to me, and I don't know that my car is going to scoot 2 inches to the right or 2 inches to the left. So if I can't trust what the wind is going to do, I'm not going to trust you of what your wind's going to do. So you just
for
have
sure.
to trust in yourself to get yourself out of a situation. Never pin your trust on someone else, because it will betray you and you will get pissed off. Like,
No, not an
no,
angry not an angry driver in NASCAR. I've never in my life have seen that.
no, never.
What is the scariest thought you've ever had in your car that you haven't said out loud before? You said it's kind of just a dull hum when you're running the super speedways. Maybe it occurred at Bristol, maybe it occurred at New Smyrna. Has there ever been a time where you were like actually a little nervous?
I think I only get nervous for my pocketbook. I get nervous, how much is this wreck going to cost me out of my pocket when I get the invoice on Monday? That is the only fear ever going through my brain. I'm like, oh,
I
here comes another car. Bink. I mean, I still have back issues from Bristol of 2023, but I didn't care in the moment of that. Oh my gosh, I'm hurt. I'm like, get me out of the clinic, because I wanted to go exchange some words. But I mean, anywho, but my biggest thing was, how big of a check is this going to be? I remember coming to a stop at even Talladega. It happened. Talladega wasn't that bad, but definitely Bristol of 2024. I stopped the car and I literally started carrying the decimal points. And I'm like, it's at least 10. All right, over there, that's going to be about 14. And all right, we're probably at like 21 over there. And then you get the check. And then it's like, yep. And that's what pisses you off the most. I don't
yeah.
care. I'd rather be in the hospital handling a hospital bill. It'll be cheaper than fixing the dang car. I'm like, that's what I'm scared of. It's the only fear for me is, shit, I'm
Speaking of
broke.
fear, speaking of fear, that's a terrifying thought. Do you know how pissed off a human being has to be to have just been involved in a major motor vehicle accident, but they're doing math in their head as they wait for the EMS? That's terrifying to me. Well,
I
you know
remember
what? Go ahead.
the EMS was even in my window saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I didn't say a word to him for a second because I'm talking to my spotter. And I'm like, how bad is the right front? I know how bad the back is, but tell me how bad is the right front. Because I'm trying to put these equal signs together. And as soon as I got out of the car, I didn't want to look at the car. I was like, I'm not looking
Right.
at it once I get out. I felt how hard it was. I felt how bad this car is. So I get out and I'm like, I'm not even looking. I'm not even looking. And I go right into the holler and I just see it being picked up in a million pieces. And
Oh,
I'm like, oh
yeah.
no. I'm like, we'll talk Monday, I guess.
God. You know what? That is a perfect segue to our next topic, and that is your mental health advocacy. You have been, I am the king of segues. You have been very open about, your health, your mental health through One in a Million. what made you be what made you decide to be so vulnerable in I don't want to say such a and it's such a male dominated tough skinned sport.
Is exactly why the reason I did it. I Even from when I first started out and making social media more so the way to pull marketing, a way to pull sponsors, I was very much already reaching a fan base that was beyond
Right.
anything of them just showing up to the track. It was all finding me online and following my journey. And everyone was just following me for so long and seeing me all these different steps of the way. I was like, it would almost feel wrong to not tell them when I'm not okay. And I was doing great and I was doing fine. And then I hit a really, really bad low. And I was like, I feel unfair putting on this show to everybody of, oh my God, look at me. I'm out at dinner here. I'm like, it just didn't feel right to me. I felt like I was lying to them. I didn't want them to think it was this old picture perfect. I'm going to put whatever I just want people to see online. I want them to know my real story. And I feel like if they were following me, they should know me, not the brand Logan Misuraca. I want them to know who I am. And I always thought, I mean, athletes more than anything have the worst mental health ever, and they just don't talk about it because they want to put on the show of showing the brand and showing how they can excel in all these different things, and it's like that's just not realistic. So I just wanted to shed awareness on it that nobody is just not going through anything. Everyone has something going on. It's just a lot of people are choosing to keep it quiet. And
Right.
I'm not doing that. I don't want to hide things from you guys. If you guys want to know something, you're going to know it.
Right. Was there a specific moment where you had that realization like if I don't say anything, if I don't bring this up, nothing changes.
Yeah. It was right after probably the highest point in my career when I won the championship. I won rookie of the year. I got all these things and a lot of things were just pinning against me at that point. It just where I was in the lifestyle, where I was with the team, where I was in certain situations, and everything was just backfiring. And I was supposed to be living this high of this was the pinnacle of my career, and I'm gonna move forward, and I'm gonna do all this, that, and the other. And then on the back end, I have so many people that I'm finding out are taking advantage of everything that I've built and using my image and taking advantage of it and then trying to take advantage of me in other ways and like even just back to the pretty face thing where they just think you're a pretty face and can't be taken serious. I've had to punch a guy at a racetrack in the face because he was on my team and he thought, "Oh, she's not going to tell anybody if I try to make a move on her." No.
Mm.
No, I'm gonna. And then you wreck me into the wall when we go out to race that night. So it's like I'm not gonna stay quiet and just let like oh the manpower and let this happen and it's just there's a lot of amazing people in this sport and there's a lot of ugly people in this sport and you just have to be really careful. That's why even just in the draft you can't trust anybody.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a way to get ahead. Everyone's got their own initiative and their own backstory of why they're doing what they're doing. Keep your circles small. And I had to learn that the hard way. And I just wanted to come out and say it because I feel like nobody else was. And I think by saying something, it put all of that stuff I was going through to an end because they were like, shit, now we can't say or do anything because she's going to tell everybody. And I'm like,
Can't
I'm not
operate in
going
the
to
dark
stay
anymore.
quiet. And I'm
Yep.
like, I don't know who you think you're talking to. You have an Italian New Yorker household child. I'm going to say something. Like, and I'm not gonna do like I've always been very against the like victim or the woe is me thing, and I never painted it as that. I just wanted to give advice to others of just be careful. And I'll tell all my other girls that I mentor now in racing that are more in the amateur levels, and I'm like, you got to be careful. I was like, never put yourself in a situation to where a rumor can get started. Never put yourself in a situation where you can look worse. Never question or never let somebody else question your morals. You build your boundaries and you stick to them. And I'm like, the second you start to waver on certain things, the public, the media, and the sport are going to rip you to shreds.
Yes.
So I just
Abs-
don't give anybody anything to say about me. I keep what I want to keep personal. I keep it very, very private. And then I keep my racing stuff and then like my sense of myself very public, but I just don't do anything to waver something I wouldn't be proud of.
Hey, you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, watching this right now. I see you. If you're enjoying what you're watching, I've got one quick favor to ask, and it only takes a second, costs you nothing, and makes a huge difference. If you could go ahead and hit that like button, maybe drop a comment. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed. Doesn't seem like much, but for small creators, it's everything. So let's help more people find this channel and keep the content coming. And honestly, I'm pretty sure the podcast will be really grateful. So if you're having fun, you like what you see, make it official, click those buttons, and the Fans View podcast, we'll see you next time.
Absolutely. I like that. How do you personally, manage your mental health during, because I mean, chaos is our word of the interview. You have to deal with the uncertainty of sponsorship, scheduling, performance, because you still have to race. How do you personally deal with that?
Well, I go to therapy 2 times a week. I
Love
love
it.
my therapist. I've had the same therapist since 2020. She's incredible. She's amazing. I adore her. And we are on a scale of now where we say I love yous before we hang up the phone. I mean, she's amazing. She's helped me through the worst times, and then even when I'm doing fine, she'll just be there and I can just call her, and if I'm driving somewhere for a long distance, just talk to her for 4 hours. And she's just been a very non-biased, well, now she's a little biased because she loves me, but
Doesn't.
but someone that doesn't know all the other things that are going on in my life, doesn't understand the industry, doesn't understand the things that are happening, and just to
Right.
have that outside party that I can just vent to is just so nice to do. Like, I don't, sometimes I just don't want to talk to someone to get advice. I just want to vent. Just
Yeah.
let me tell you what's going on, and then we can unpack it later if we want to. But I don't want to go to somebody that's just going to be like, if I tell them something, they're like, oh, well, maybe you should try this. No,
Right.
just let me
Yes.
vent it to you. Let me get it out, get it off my chest.
As a married man, you are speaking and preaching to the choir. Sometimes she just wants you to sit there and shut up. Just
Yep.
listen.
Yep.
That's
Just
all.
listen. Just listen.
uh, as we kind of try to start to wind this thing down, I can't let you out of here without asking. And I know this isn't the funnest thing to recall, but obviously before the 2024 season, unfortunately, you and Celsius parted ways. It was very close to the beginning of the season, throwing your whole 2024 plans into a tailspin, for lack of a better term. When sponsorship falls through, especially like that, what does that actually mean for the day to day?
It means everything. I mean, you're depending on that sponsorship check to one, not just be your career and being able to go out and actually race, but you're making a profit in your own business for it to live. I mean, if you're racing full time, you don't have time to have an actual real job. That's
Right,
paying the bills. That is your job. So, but it just goes to show that anything can happen in the blink of a second. People change their minds, people change their point of views. Some people want to be shady, some people want to like just switch up really quick. It just happens.
right.
So, it's just always preparing yourself, and I also learned that the hard way in the business. Do not get excited about anything anybody says until that check is in your hand and already cashed.
Love it.
If someone
Yep.
is talking to you on the phone, even if not even just sponsors, it could be a friend, it could be a team, and they're promising you all of these things, do not get excited. I suggest you don't even tell your friends about it, because then you're going to have to go back to them later on and explain how it didn't happen, and then you're going to be really upset about it. So keep everything under wraps. Do not get excited. I know you want to get excited. It's an exciting thing, it's a new opportunity. just wait until that contract is not just made, but it's signed on both ends. And not even just that, wait till the check is given to you. Because anything can happen. Someone can just wake up the next morning and just say, no, we're good. And it's fine. We do it in our daily sense every day as athletes too. Like, we'll wake up one day and be like, no, maybe we don't want to do that, or maybe we want to do this. I mean, even coming down to like what we eat. Like,
Right.
Everyone's making a million decisions a day. You can't hold them accountable for it. It's just the way life is. Just
Right.
don't get excited until you know you're allowed to get excited about it.
And of course, let's just be very clear. This is no shade at Celsius. It's business.
No.
There's no
Yeah.
It's not personal. We all get it. It just kind of sucks. That's all. But speaking, we've talked about how you have to have companies invest in you. What's the hardest part about asking a company to invest in Logan? Like, how hard is that?
It's just the price point. That's the only hard part. It grows from year to year, and it's just getting more and more and more, and I'm trying to find more ways to build more value as myself and as a business. And I think I do tenfold more than all the other drivers do. I'm doing way many more things behind the scenes, or business to business deals, and like being their own personal spokesperson. And if I can't make it make sense for them, I can't do
Right.
it. So as this price point keeps raising more and more, it's like you kind of have to come up with more ways to add more value, because
Right.
the sticker on the car doesn't cost extra. It's just the cost of what's under the sticker. And that shouldn't be on the sponsor. And then the
Right.
biggest thing is crash clauses. How am I going to make it make sense to a sponsor after I just wrecked out and I only gave them half of the TV time I promised them, but you expect
Right.
me to go back and ask them for 30 more grand to pay for lack of TV time? So it's just finding ways to like build that in. And I mean, crash clauses, I've handled that issue. I've found a way, and that's my own secret, and I'm gatekeeping how I do that. But
I love it.
but it's making it make sense for them. I know what I can bring to the table. I know I can value myself way more than any of the other drivers. And even when it comes social media, talent wise, it's hard to find someone that's willing to put in the time and effort to make sure it's a 10 out of 10 on all sides. And
Right.
I've always said racing is 99% business and 1% actually race day, going fast and turning left. But you better
Right.
make sure that 1% is the full 1%, not
Yeah.
0.99, not 0.98. You have to make sure that 1% is given, because that's all you got. I'm always so relieved and relaxed to just sit in the car. I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have any more meetings. I don't have meet and greets, which I love to do them, but it's organizing everything and making sure everyone's in the right place at the right time. And I have social media things going out at this time, and I have so and so meeting with them up in the suite so they can talk and try to broker a business deal together. And it's micromanaging all these little things to where when I get in the car and I take that breath and I'm like, now I can just drive.
That's
The
that's
main
wild.
event is the smallest event for me.
Yeah, that's wild that the most calming part of your job is going 200 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's definitely saying something there.
So then you want it to last as
What
long as possible.
right.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
that
just let
I
me
mean
keep
for all
going.
parties involved,
Yeah.
for sure. What is the most honest thing you could say that maybe fans don't want to hear about how hard it is to survive in racing without funding? I mean, you see these talented drivers in every major series that are without a ride because they don't have funding.
It is what it is. I mean, they try to say like, oh, and a lot of people, and I get this a lot, and I try to explain it to fans, and maybe we can do it here, because they'll say, oh, well, you're trying to spend all this money on one ARCA race. Why aren't you going to run like 10 late model races with that money? That's not what the sponsors want. I would
Right.
love to go race more races at that price point, but I can't sell them no TV coverage, barely any exposure, barely any audience when I can offer them this in ARCA. It's not me just wanting
Right.
to, oh my God, I want to be in NASCAR and I want to be at the top. But it's like, at this point, if I want to race, I have to race in the televised scene to be able to get this money and show what I can do as the business side of things. I can't go run
Right.
anything that's not televised because they don't want it. They don't want to do it.
Right.
So it's just, and a lot of people don't understand because they just think everyone in NASCAR has a lot of money.
Yes.
50% of us do not. I promise you that. Especially in ARCA, we are all trying to fight our way into it. Some have it a lot easier than others. But then there's people like me, and there's like a very select handful of people that really come from not a single dime, not a single family connection, that is just trying to do it the right way. Do it being talented and making sure you're working on your talent while trying to find funding, and not leaving crumbs, not screwing anyone over, being true to who you are in the process, not using your body to get ahead, not using anything other than just what you're there to do, and just using your talent. And I mean, you get the pretty face comment all the time, and it's like, you guys get so mad when I'm out there racing against the boys. You'd be mad if I were selling my body on social media too. So damned if I do, damned if I don't. So
Absolutely.
sorry, morally, I'm not going to do that, which could probably fund my entire racing career. But let me do things the right way, and let me be out here actually showing I have talent. Take it or
I
leave
love
it.
that.
If you want to
Love
say
it.
I don't have talent, that's fine, but I'm doing the best with the equipment I got and with the opportunities I got. Sorry, you try to put yourself behind the wheel. I highly doubt you can do much better. And then working my ass off every single day when it's not race day to trying to bring in money, trying to hustle, find new opportunities, new business ideas I can do to myself. That's just not, it may not even be looking for partners. And I'm just creating a little side business for myself because I just have one of those weird brains at like 2 a.m. where I'm like, ooh, I got to write that down. New business idea. I have like 7 logos in my phone of unreleased businesses that I plan to do at some point in my life. But it's just
I love
finding
it.
new creative ways and always staying a creative. And it ain't easy.
I love it. People are going to be so disappointed now that you just put to bed the Logan Misuraca OnlyFans guys that ain't coming. So just go ahead and.
All right, this wasn't your big announcement today.
Speaking of big announcements, City Garage Motorsports is going to put together the very first all women's ARCA team. That's got to be pretty amazing to be included in such a trailblazing effort.
It's very exciting, and I think the best part of it is they're not just female drivers, they're extremely talented female drivers. So it's not like it's just a team put together of the girls who can pay for it and the girls that are just going to go out there and do what many of them do. Like, they're girls that have really proven themselves in amateur racing and on and off the track and putting so much work into their craftsmanship. And I'm really excited that I get to kick off the season being the first female driver to do it for the year. And then I'm really excited to see what they can do in the E Series. Obviously, it's really exciting that we finally actually have an all-female team.
Right.
And when the opportunity presented itself first, it was one of those things of don't get overly excited yet. You don't
Right.
know what's going to happen. You don't know if it's going to happen. But you couldn't help but think, like, it almost felt like it was like a program just made for me. Like, it was
Right.
very much that grassrooty kind of feeling of racing and people that are just like really putting their time and effort into doing something. And Ryan Bell, my crew chief, he was over at Rev Racing with me last year. So him and I already have had a relationship and a connection in racing to where it almost felt like the perfect fit. And funny enough, the equipment that I'm racing at Daytona is like 90% the same equipment I ran with Rev last year. So it's like the car's already built for me. It was already my car, and now I'm going to go run it at the track I always feel the most confident at, with the best team, with these girls that are really, I think, going to make a great name for themselves in the E Series. And I've been helping them out with other things on like the social media side, because like that's just my forte.
Right.
And I think we can all work together to make this more special than a lot of people have realized it to be. I feel like it's, people know about it, but it's only really like real race fans that know what's going on. And I'm like, I feel like it's just such a bigger deal than what they're putting together. Like, no one's done this. Like, no one's done
Right.
an all female team, all female driver, and really push the female first initiative. And I love what Stewart's doing. He's an amazing guy. Stewart and Mike, they're both incredible. And I love the way that they're trusting me in this, to
For
where
sure.
they're really trusting my talent and my forte of super speedways and what I can bring to the table, and kind of looking to me for more advice to help them. And it's more of just an actual partnership of a team rather than I'm just driving for a team. Like, it's like
Right.
we're very much working together. Like, the other day I went for my seat fitting, and Quinn is in the car putting my belts in for me. And it's like, I'm like, this is just great. And she goes, Your Highness, your throne is ready, Your Highness. And I'm like, I love this. I'm like, it's just like, it really brings, and I know the girls, and everyone knows the girls in motorsports have a very odd relationship. And a lot of the females are trying to keep this of one female can be there, only one
Right.
girl, and we're just fighting for that girl spot. And it's like, why can't we have a full table of girls, or at
Hell
least
yeah.
50% of the table? Like, why are
Yeah.
we fighting for a seat rather than just enlarging the table? And that's how I've always looked at it. And I think me, Becca, and Quinn, I mean, we have a group chat to where we just talk every single day. We're going to be jumping on iRacing here soon to go over stuff and just really work together on stuff. And I would love to help them with things. And Becca, with her short track championships, I know she can help me with some other things. And Quinn is just a, she's a trip. She's
We've
a
had her
trip.
on.
We
She's out there. We love Quinn.
we love Quinn. She's great. She's just, I don't think she knows where she's at 90% of the time, but we love her to pieces, and she's a hell of a driver. And
Absolutely.
I feel like she'll excel, obviously, in the short tracks, but I see her doing very well at intermediate stuff too. Like, I watch her racing strategy and her craft of what she does. And so Becca's just this short track monster who's amazing at short tracks. And then Quinn, I think, will do extremely well at intermediate. And then there's me, the super speedway girl. I'm like, hey. And I
I
came from
love it.
short track, and I feel really good at short track, but I think there's a lot we can all three piggyback and learn off each other throughout the year and figure this out to make it stronger of a organization, as well as building the team more.
Yeah, and just to kind of touch on that real quick, you mentioned like you're a baby. You're still 26 years old, but you're the elder statesman when it comes to this team. How does that kind of feel, being, the veteran, with Becca being there and Quinn, I think, just newly turning 17? You're kind of the old lady on the block.
I didn't even realize it until me and Stuart were talking about it. He's like, well, I kind of want to do something for social media of like the veteran teaching the rookie. And I'm like, you're making me sound old. And I'm like,
Ah,
that is so mean. I'm like, that is so not good. But I love it. It's just, it's very heartwarming, and it gave me a sense of purpose that like people do appreciate. Oh, I don't want to get emotional. That was weird. Whew. Anyway, God.
we're here to laugh. We're here to cry. This is what we
We're
come on
here
the
to
fans
cry. We're
view
here to
for.
fall. It's okay. But
I'm
I don't know.
telling
It
you.
gave me that sense of purpose that someone has recognized everything that I've done and is now trusting me to teach them and show them what I can do. And that's really seen, like, Ryan Bell had me in tears when he first called me about the opportunity. And it was like, he could see from such a short thing, because Bristol of 2024, we had that crazy
Unfortunate.
race. So unfortunate. And then 2025, we had fuel cell issues, and the bladder of the fuel cell was having issues to where we could only do 15 laps at a time. And the fact that Ryan put his faith in me off of just seeing those 2 races of what I can actually bring to the table and do, and then trust in me to be basically the opener for this
Right.
team
Yeah.
is it was very humbling moment of where I was like, wow, people can actually see the work that you put into it. It's not just all in your head of
Yeah.
like, oh, they don't know who I am, or they don't know what I'm doing, and they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And they definitely could see that, and they saw it was paying off. So I was like, I think I'm doing something right.
You got to be doing something right, because like you said, it's not only like, hey, Logan can get eyes on our brand. Hey, Logan can finish this car, in the top 10. No, it's, hey, we believe in Logan so much that we're going to trust her with this young moldable talent. So that is saying something. And I know I've spoken with Stuart, I've spoken with Quinn and Becca. Everyone speaks so highly of you, and not only your personality but your skills. So just know that you're doing something right, and we are noticing. People are noticing, so please take that to
Thank you.
heart.
Thank you.
With Daytona being such a meaningful track to you, you being a Central Florida girl, you actually moonlighting, I guess, your little side hustle, which we'll talk about at the end, being at Daytona. How does racing there now with this team, with this trailblazing moment ahead of you, feel different from previous starts?
I think it's this whole year and this past year of 2025 has really felt a lot of things have changed in my life in 2025. I had a big move, I had a big life change. I've had some crazy things happen. And 2026, I guess I'm just stepping in with a whole different confidence. And I always thought, back to what I was saying before, of like, if you want it done right, you do it yourself. And I feel like now I'm really getting that full circle moment of all the work I've put into it, and this opportunity basically laid itself in my lap. And that never happens to me ever. It's always been like a crazy, like, work for it, and you got to like hustle and like convince someone and
Right.
debate and the negotiations and stuff. And it was like this just kind of molded itself perfectly into what it needed to be. So I think it's just more, the confidence is huge going into Daytona. I know what I can do there. I know going into it, I have more experience than anybody out on that track. I know no matter what the car does, that when it comes to Daytona, it doesn't really matter what the car is doing. It's all driver. And
Right.
I've been preparing myself like crazy. I think the training I put into super speedways and the training I put into the rest of the schedule is leaps and bounds different. And I think I'm on track to where I'm in a pretty damn good place going into that
I
race.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see that car roll off the starting grid. I'm so excited. I've never been this excited for an ARCA race, so I'm just gonna fangirl over you for a minute. Um,
Perfect.
as we round third and we're bringing this thing home, I have a two-parter for you. First off, and I've thrown around trailblazer, and I'm not being facetious when I say that this is a trailblazing endeavor with this first all women's team. A, does that add pressure to you, or does it just fuel you? And B, and we kind of touched on this a little bit, how important is it to you that this team is not just a gimmick? It's not, oh, this is the first all women's team ever in ARCA. It's like, no, we're women, but we will kick your ass on the track. We're going to bump you. We're going to draft. We're going to pass. We're going to win. We're going to do all the things the men can do. Your gender has nothing to do with it at the end of the day. How important is that to you instead of just being a gimmick?
Right. I mean, I think it definitely more so fuels me. Quinn even asked me in the shop the other day, and she was just like, "Are you nervous?" Like, pulled me aside and like whispered it to me. And I looked at her and I was like, "No." I'm like, "I'm not nervous at all." And she's like, "I'd be freaking out." And I was like, "You get to a point where you don't freak out. And then you just, and I think it's the best point to be. Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to have like race day nerves on wanting to do well, but it's not a sense of pressure. It's more so just, I feel extremely confident. I just hope not overconfident going into this race. But I think I've done everything that I need to do and some. And then the fact that they're actually being able to pull this off of having all females and not just having females that are just going to look good for the brand, or females that are like, oh, let's put the 3 drivers with the biggest social media followings out there and be able to push this initiative to where it's on every single news platform. Like,
Right.
each of the racers are hand selected based on craftsmanship, and that alone, to where it's bringing you back to the grassroots style of talent and not a pay to play. And City Garage, their partners, Orlando Health, and everything that will be on the car for Daytona, you guys will see. But every single sponsor is not going into it from the driver perspective. They're going into it because of the initiative of it being female first. And because it's an all-female team, and Stewart has really built this from the ground up. It's not like I just negotiated with a partner and was like, hey, like, Orlando Health, sponsor me. Let's put you on this car. It's like, no, it's City Garage Motorsports, and there's going to be 3 females running for this team, and we would like you to be a part of it. And they have all leaped on and jumped on, and I'm very excited to show the sponsors of what actually that year will turn out to be.
So well put, so eloquently spoken, almost like a rocket scientist or something.
Oh my God, almost.
What would you say if I asked you Daytona will be successful if, and you can fill in the blank?
That's a tricky one, because if you ask Stewart, it's successful if we finish the race with the car in one piece.
Yeah, bring all the cars. That sounds like a car owner.
Which, of course, is always the goal for Daytona.
Right.
I would say, obviously, yes, we would love to finish with the car in one piece. But let's just put that as, like, the lowest standard that we have to meet. We always have to put a higher standard out there. I think if we can walk away with a finish that will show that the team is not just here to make laps, that we're not a start and park team, that we're not this low budget team that should be laughed at, or this team that, because I mean, I've heard it around the garages, and it's just everyone's like, oh, there's a new team and they're doing this, and it's like, I want to be able to paint the picture that this team is not here to play, that this team is willing to put in the work and do whatever they need to do. You have Ryan at the shop countless hours of the day with such a knowledge book in his brain that's just insane for a crew chief to have, and just really working together on things and never making a decision without them all being in on it. Like, everything's just so cohesive there, and I just want to be able to walk away with a finish to where everyone realizes, like, oh shoot, watch out for them, and leave people to think. Obviously, I would want, like, at least a top 5 or top 3 or a first place
There's
finish.
the answer. There's the answer. That's the answer everybody was looking
standard for me. That's the high one.
I love it. Well, we've gotten to the final 3 questions. You have made it through, Logan. When your racing career is eventually over, and obviously we talked about it, you're a young lady, you've got a lot of racing left in you. But when it's over, what do you want people to say about Logan Misuraca?
That she built herself from the ground up with no handouts. Because I think I would be the first one to ever do it if it works out 100% in my way of where I want to be in the Cup Series someday. I mean, I don't see myself retiring from racing until I win a Cup championship. That's just always been my mindset. I will be the female to do it, and if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right, and I'm going to do it all the way, and then I'll back off. But I'll back off on a high. I'm not doing another year after I do that. Then I'm done. Then I'm like, all right, you guys have fun. Goodbye. I'll do, like, little single out races here and there. But, I mean, I got goals. I have ambitions. I have things that I want met. But I want people to look back and see the Logan Misuraca name as not just the pretty face anymore, and just see someone as someone who's actually worked her ass off to get to where she was, made it all the way, and hopefully, foreseeable future, win a championship.
Hell yeah. Let's go. I love it. I'm hyped up. You're getting me hyped up.
There we
Let's do
go.
this.
Let's go racing.
Let's do this. Line them up at Daytona now. Let's just get this
There we
party
go.
started. Well, my last two questions are my favorite two questions, so I save them for the end. I ask every guest because the Fans View podcast is just that. Like, I'm just a fan of racing, professional wrestling, all this fun stuff that I talk about. What are you a fan of when you're not racing, when you're not aerospace engineering? What are you a fan of?
Calmness.
Ooh, okay.
Calmness. I discovered that in myself last year because I was very much the chaotic lifestyle. If I wasn't racing, I would want to go surfing. I'd want to go to the beach and go jump around at the beach or go do all of these crazy things. And I very much valued my alone time,
Mhm.
and whether it be reading a book, crocheting a blanket, cooking sourdough or baking sourdough bread, which I am so good at now. I have a sourdough starter. His name is Francenzo, and he is the most robust, amazing sourdough starter in the entire world. We love you, Franny. And
Love it.
just little things that are just very calm and just let you decompress. You don't have to put so much of your brain to it. And I know it sounds so boring, but it's you value that calmness when you're constantly doing something or having to please
Yeah.
other people or engage with other people and do all these different things that it's like I just want my alone time. I want to make a lasagna. I want to drink my glass of Josh red wine, and I'm going to read a book later. I'm going to crochet a blanket. Who knows, I might write a book. Who knows? But something just by myself. I really adore doing things that make me calm because my life is anything other than that.
I love that answer. I swear, I'm so glad that you came on today just because you are probably the exact opposite of what I expected.
Oh, well,
I
now I got a
love that
question
so
for
much.
you. Uh-uh.
Oh,
Now I
oh,
have a
go ahead.
question. What did you think of me before this podcast? Because I'm very curious.
My goodness, I'm going to be canceled on my own podcast.
That's okay, because
I,
it's what fans paint of me, so I want to know.
you know, from the male perspective of just a casual racing fan, you see this pretty girl who you think, okay, well, you know why she's here. She's probably not that dedicated. You know, us racing fans have seen some females come in and out of this sport that weren't long for this world. I'm not going to mention any names, but we know who they are. Um, you know, everybody in 2025, 2026 has an OnlyFans page and they're doing this and they're doing that. So seeing a pretty girl who doesn't want to lean on that, who wants to work hard, who wants to do it the right way, like I'm probably going to cut it out of the interview, but I have a 3-year-old daughter about to turn 4. I would much rather her follow someone like you, that doesn't want to just be naked on the internet, who wants to work her ass off and drive that car, you know than other options that are out there. So I guess that would be my political way of saying I kind of thought you were just a pretty face until I started to research you. Obviously I followed you on Instagram for years, because you were a pretty face, but now getting to know who, even before I talked to you, kind of going through your research and learning your story was pretty incredible and eye-opening. So that's why I'm so excited to have you on the show today, so people can really get to know, like, who is Logan Misuraca, just not the pretty girl on Instagram. Like, that's fantastic, and that's awesome, but getting to know, like, no, she's not on OnlyFans, she's actually in the hauler crocheting a blanket right now.
I wouldn't do
That
that on race day, but
no, but that's kind of like that seems like your vibe, your speed. So I appreciate that, and I respect that more than anything. I respect it. So, and I think other people will too. There are going to be some people disappointed that we weren't making the OF announcement, but they'll live.
they'll
There's
live.
plenty of other options out there, guys.
Yeah,
I'm not
find
going to
another
link
one
them.
to follow.
yeah, there's plenty. But, and that kind of lends itself to a question I didn't even expect to ask. But how can fans, especially at the level you're at the ARCA level, you're grinding right now. How can what's a realistic way, I guess is the best way to ask it, for fans to support you? Obviously, we can't write you $100,000 check for your car, but how can we support you, on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis?
I think it's just the words of encouragement. And that goes back to the mental health thing. I know I'm very independent. I'm very strong headed. I am kind of a biatch in my like secondary terms, whatever. But the words of encouragement go a long way. Not the red hearts, you look so hot and can't wait to see your sexy self go in circles all day. It's like, tell me I'm doing something right. Tell me I'm doing
Yeah.
good. That's all the support I need from you. I don't need cash. But I mean, if you do know somebody that knows somebody that needs something to be marketed, I can sell a paperclip to you and you'll be happy you bought the paperclip. I
I
will
love
make it
it.
happen. But I think the biggest thing that I always ask for is just support, because when it comes to the downfall and something bad happens on race day, it goes completely the opposite and it weighs more than you guys think it does.
Right. Absolutely. I love that answer. I can't tell you enough times how much I love that answer.
We should do
Last
like a little bloopers clip of every time you said, I love that answer, I love that answer, I love that answer, and then post that.
I am so terrible about it. Like I have like one phrase. I'm terrible. I'm
That's
the
great.
world's
Means you
worst.
love that answer. I'm just
I'm
taking
the
it as you love my answers.
I do. I won't lie to you. I'm scared you might kill me at this point. Um, I don't mess with Italian girls and I don't mess with Florida residents. Okay, that's two things I've learned in this
Yeah,
life.
we're a little crazy.
Listen, Florida man is not just a cliche. Okay. Last but not least, and this is my favorite question to ask everyone, and you've kind of touched on it here and there, but at this point of your life, obviously you're a young woman. How do you define success, not only in racing, but just in life?
I think setting your own goals, making them realistic, and actually achieving those goals one day at a time is the only way you can achieve success. Don't set these crazy realistic goals. Obviously, you want that high standard and you have that big ambition, but that shouldn't be a goal. Each
Right.
goal should, in day after day, should tomorrow I want to make myself a better version of today, and so on and so forth. But I think success for me isn't a dollar sign. It's not the name for myself that I create, because all that's going to be gone eventually. If I die, no one's going to remember me in 50, 100 years. Who gave a crap? But I would be happy on my deathbed just knowing that I gave everything that I could give and did everything that I wanted to do in life and was able to achieve each goal for each day.
Hell yeah. I
Hey,
enjoy and appreciate that answer, Logan. Not
thank
love it.
you. Thank you, Jared.
No, I really do. I can't tell you enough how much I've enjoyed having you on. This has been as fun for me than it's going to be for the viewers and the listeners. So we really appreciate it. Finally, last but not least, we have to plug the socials. Let people know where can they get a hold of you? Where can they comment on your pictures about how pretty you are? No, I'm kidding. But where can fans see your social medias?
Yeah, careful because there's a lot of fake accounts out there. But it's
Yes.
just at Logan Misuraca on everything except TikTok. I had to add a one because I got logged out of the Logan Misuraca one. So don't follow that one. It's Logan Misuraca one on TikTok, and then everything else is just at Logan Misuraca. Even if you just go to my Instagram, you go to my little link tree, everything is there as well.
Love it. And we talked a little bit earlier, I think off camera, but One in a Million is the charity, the foundation that you have, with the whole mental health awareness and things like that. And I think that's down right now, but maybe there'll be some updates forthcoming if people just follow the social medias.
Yeah, I just have to. I'm restructuring the whole website. I think people will be happy to see the new initiative I want to do with it. I'm excited with how it's coming along, so I will be posting updates on that. But I want to start helping because I would usually go to the National Alliance of Mental Illness with NAMI. I want to focus more on a local centered thing. And there's ways to get fans involved in that to where we can donate to their local mental health institutions and be able to give people the resources they need. So I want to focus more on a local level because I think that would be more beneficial because sometimes you just don't know where those checks are going. And I would like to go in and know exactly where that check is going. Or even if it's just a fan going through a hard time and I'm handing you that check, I'd rather do that than
I love that.
let's just give it to a big organization that we have no idea what they're going to do with it.
Right, absolutely.
So.
And that makes total sense. Well, last but not least, obviously, I know you can't always let all the details out or let the cat out of the bag, but after Daytona, we know we're going to see you at Daytona. Where will we see you in 2026? Do we have any dates that are already on the calendar?
Talladega. Sorry.
Ooh, you got a little cold there. I think you might want to
Yeah,
check on that.
it almost
Ooh,
sounded like I said Tallahassee. I don't know.
yeah, maybe at Florida, girl. We'll, we'll,
Something
we'll,
like that.
we'll, you know what? We'll get back to you on that because maybe around April, maybe sometime in the spring, we'll have you back on to talk about your schedule.
Perfect. Sounds
That
great.
that sounds like a good idea to me too.
Yes.
Well, Logan, I could sit here and gush about you for another hour and a half if you'd let me, but I think my impatient 3-year-old down there would
Yeah.
not like that so much. So we're gonna let you get out of here. But guys, please, I say this every episode. I genuinely mean it. Logan is the sweetest human being off camera as she is on. Please, she deserves all your support. Go follow her on all the socials: X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Don't tell her she's pretty. She already knows that. Tell her she's a good race car driver. Tell her she crocheted a hell of a blanket. How about that, guys? Let's try that in 2026.
Yes. Love that.
All jokes aside, guys, go show her some support. Make sure to check her out. She's going to be leading City Garage Motorsports at Daytona International Speedway next month for the ARCA Menard Series. And guys, most importantly, don't forget to call your moms.
If you haven't liked or subscribed, you're going to be joking me.